All right. It's not only back to school for your kids, but it's also back to sports for many of them as well. And injuries are always a concern as kids get back to their teams. So this morning we have sports medicine Dr. Burleson with Beacon Orthopaedics to talk more about this. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming. This is right on time as kids are easing back into sports, or maybe they've been doing some over the summer as well. What have you been seeing as a doctor in terms of injuries coming from kids getting back into sports?
Yeah, this time of year is very common for kids have a lot of type of sports injuries. They may be transitioning from one sport to another. They may not have their conditioning up to where they want it to be. So when they try to jump back into these sports, they think that they can just start playing full speed, and we see a lot of injuries, overuse type of injuries, acute injuries, and kind of like these chronic type of injuries as well too.
When you talk about acute or overuse, those are the two types of injuries that you're seeing. Kind of break those down for us so we know kind of the difference of what you're seeing. Right.
So like the acute injuries are, you cut one way, your body goes one way, the knee goes the other way. These pulls, strains, tearing ligaments. The overuse type of injuries, we see these a lot too as well. Like we were talking about, trying to get acclimated into the activities you're doing, and you may start trying to overdo things a little bit too much, and you put a little bit too much stress on a certain part of your body, and kind of can lead to a breakdown of a certain type of, even it can have like stress fractures, you can have overuse type of chronic tendonitis type of injuries as well too.
See, I can understand when you mentioned that they just jump back into the sport. It's easy to want to do that, especially if you haven't been doing it in a while, but you're saying ease into it.
Definitely. I mean, I think especially like preseason conditioning, working out, and transitioning slowly back into these activities are very important for our high school athletes, and especially our weekend warriors as well too.
When we're talking about athletes, a lot of times we think football. That's definitely injuries. You can see that happening there. But you're seeing all the sports, cheerleading, volleyball, anything. You can have those kinds of strenuous injuries. Oh,
definitely. Any type of sport you have. I mean, anytime you're working hard and exercising very vigorously. I mean, like I said, it can be anything. Soccer, cross country, cheerleading, football, and like I said, even the weekend warriors. I mean, you think that you can get back into something a little bit quicker than maybe you used to be able to, and leave yourself vulnerable for any type of injury.
Absolutely. Any advice, especially for parents who are sending their kids back into sports and getting this going again, of how they should help them, steer them in the right direction so they can minimize the amount of injuries that they may get?
I think definitely taking it slow. Put the time in for the strengthening, the conditioning, the endurance, build that kind of stuff up so that you're not kind of jumping into something and leaving yourself vulnerable for an injury.
Absolutely. And if they end up getting injured, they got to call you.
They definitely. We're there for them.
Yeah. Let folks know where you're located really quickly for folks who might be going through this or may be going through this sometime soon.
Right. Yeah. So we're available at our Sharonville office as well as in Miamisburg as well too, and we have a couple other locations as well. But if you want to come see me, those will be the places where I'll be.
Dr. Burleson, we appreciate you coming in. Really good advice there, especially as kids are getting right back into it starting now.
All right. Thank you very much for having me.
Catherine, you're watching The Mother for us this